But if it's just class related, don't panic. I'm sure that we can continue on from where we left off, and it won't be problematic for you. So don't panic. And I will look at emails today, as I will have access after class here on campus.
Did you try the system restore method first?
Oh, I tried it.
Far past that point.
Tried it. So I noticed over the weekend, I graded everything you've turned in to me so far, and I noticed a couple of things that I want to work with you in regards to. One of them is we need to practice this topic sentence idea. We need to focus on. That's my text message. Sorry. George! I like that one. All right. So we need to do some work on our topic sentence. The controlling idea, concept, and the attitude, the development of value, and the attitude portion. And we're going to do that today. Today's class, most of you know that I had a family member have a stroke, my father recently, and so today he has an appointment that I may need to take care of him in that regard, so I may have to leave class a little bit early today, so we may cut class a little short today, but I will make it up to you with an opportunity for extra credit, because I don't want you guys to miss out on an opportunity to learn. I feel like that's a fair exchange. But it'll only be about 15-20 minutes max, okay? So we usually get out at 12:30, 12:40 anyway. It'll be right around then. But I won't know for a moment. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. I apologize ahead of time. I usually never miss class, but with family comes before everything else.
Nothing to apologize about.
But I did, and another positive thing, spend the entire weekend grading, and this is all of your assignments, even the old quizzes, which actually pretty wonderful to continue checking out, because your new quizzes, the ones that you guys did, were higher. You did much better. You actually scored higher. So, to start our day, let's go back in time for just a minute and review our topic sentence idea, because honestly, I think we're just a little rough on this still. We just don't quite have it. So a topic sentence has a couple of parts. We know that it has to be grammatically correct, right? Which means that we have to have all the words in place, okay? The right words in the right place. That's important, and I think that it's a challenge for some of us. So we have an SVO. And I know that an S and a V and an O are all different parts of speech, okay? We got to work on this still. And that's okay, but we need to continue our study. Parts of speech. A subject is a noun, a verb. We always try to have an active verb, remember those? And this is a noun. What do you introduce a noun with? Sandra, what do you introduce a noun with? Do you remember?
A proper noun?
No, not quite. That's another type of noun. That's
Sorry.
okay. That's all right. I know. We're going to start.
I'm not really
slow.
awake.
That's okay.
So.
Elvis, do you remember?
An article.
Nice, an article. So I have to have an article. You guys got to work on this. We have to have a the or an a or an and. And then we have our noun, and then we have our noun doing the action, and then we have the object, right? These are all parts of speech. That's important. Grammatical correctness, okay? We also know that it has to be complete as a thought, even though you walk down the street. Doesn't make sense, does it? Even though you walk down the street, I can still see you riding the bus on Tuesdays. Now it has a complete thought, right? Okay? Oh, sorry. So there's complete as a thought, and it also has to be limited, which means it only enough information to do what? To be outlined in a what? No, in a paragraph. Okay, that's what we're aiming for. Our topic sentence is going to tell us how much information we can support it with. All the stuff that goes underneath it, right? Because remember, if you think about it, what's this? Let me see if I can draw it. I'm a very good artist. Okay, maybe not so much. What's this? It's a horrible rendering of a bicycle.
An old-fashioned bicycle.
An old-fashioned bicycle. It's not even a good bicycle. There's our chain. Okay, but we know that if we get rid of these, what do we have?
The frame.
That's right, we just have the frame sitting on the ground, and that's not really going to help us much, is it?
In other words,
This is awesome!
but
Maybe if we push it downhill, all right? Or it's a three-wheeler and we push it downhill, all right? I don't know. But the point is, it's not going to help us. Our wheels are the things that you worked on over the weekend, right? Those examples that support our ideas, okay? That examples that support our ideas. Let's go to this for a second. Limited and complete. I know it has to have a subject, and I know it has to have a controlling idea. Okay? The controlling idea is what? Attitude or tone
Development.
and development. Nice job, Sandra. Development of value. So, let's see if you guys can pick that information out on your own. Now, we've already done these. Okay? We've already done these exact sentences and this exact exercise in class. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do this on your own. But just to be safe, because I want to help you, we're going to do the first one together, just to get you working on it and get them together, all right? Can you pass one over? Because I had an extra right now. Jessica, is that? I'm okay, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good. Hey, Brian. How are you today?
same old different day.
Mark? Okay, let's do the first one together. In the following sentences, we're going to, what are we going to do? We're going to circle the topic or the subject and underline the controlling idea, okay? So we're going to practice the first one, number one. Somebody read it for me. Maria, please, read it for me, will you?
Okay,
Thanks.
exercising can be more enjoyable if done in a group.
Okay?
Oh.
Amanda, what's our subject?
Exercising.
Good, well done. So what am I going to do based on the directions? Circle it. So there's our first word, exercising. And if I think back, so you're going to circle it, and if I think back to when we started this whole mess of grammar, there was a whole lesson on subject. You remember that? And I said that when you have a verb at the beginning of a sentence, what comes before it that's not said? The words that aren't said. That aren't the act of. Good job. The act of. So it's actually the act of exercising is our subject, not just exercise. Okay? What about the controlling idea? But remember, the controlling idea is not the SVO. Want to try it? Somebody? Somebody? Maria?
Is it enjoyable if done in a group?
Enjoyable if done in a group. Good. So hang on a second. If I write exercising can be more enjoyable, right? If done in a group. Okay? If done in a group. Is the word enjoyable describing the exercising? It's telling us, well, it is, isn't it? It's saying it's more enjoyable if it's done in a group. So what's my controlling idea again? You think that it's the whole, is it the object plus the words after it? Or is it just that phrase at the end? If done in a group. I think it's just the last phrase there.
If done in a group.
If done in a group.
Oh, not enjoyable?
Because we're describing it. We're describing what's happening. We're just saying that exercising can be enjoyable. That's really all we're saying, right? So which words, in this case, if I'm looking for the controlling idea, we can make a decision as a group, okay? Which one is actually is it the whole thing, or is it just that last phrase? Now, what parts, and you figure this out based on this right here. So what is our subject verb object? Exercising can be enjoyable. So what's the part that gives us the attitude? It's not just that it's enjoyable, it's what? More enjoyable. Ah, okay. So what's the word that's going to be a part of that controlling idea? More. There we go. More, and that's the attitude, and then there's that leftover part, which is if done in a group. That tells me why I want to know more about this, right? It's why I want to understand. Why is it more enjoyable if done in a group? Why? What makes it more enjoyable?
That would be your development then.
That's your development of value. That's what makes me want to read on. Do you see? Okay, try to do number 2 through 7, independent of me. And I'm going to hand back this ginormous stack of papers, at least some of them. So number 2 through 7. Now concentrate. Don't just do it, quickly without thinking. I want you to make sure you try to get it right. Take a moment on each one, think about it, and then make the decision as to whether or not it's the correct answer. So some of these quizzes, these are from way back. These are the ones that you did originally. Some of them are from the one that you did. You should have 2. If you don't have 2, you should probably take it again. No. What? That was the first one. That was way back in the day.
Oh,
Don't worry.
oh my God.
That was the first one. Oh my God. Yes, sir. I'll look underneath, but I don't think it's in there. They might have picked it up and brought it to the Humanities Division. Aha! Well, maybe it is there. Sweet. Is that it? There you go. Like that.
Hey, I was just wondering what this word means.
Versatility, the ability to mean many things. Versatile, which means the ability that an
item or a device or a person has to change. It can be used, for instance, this desk could be used as a table. It could be used as a place to sit. It could be used as a place to eat. So it's very versatile. It has many uses.
Thank you.
Looks like it was your foot.
So if you receive an assignment back that says, please put in your journal, that's because I'm gonna collect your journals, and it was, it was a journal assignment. And I wanted it in that journal so I can grade it in accordance to the rest of the journal entries. And that's all right, there was only like a few of you that did that one.
You got your journal, didn't you?
All right, we're gonna do the journal, so probably on Wednesday.
Okay, so most of you guys look like you're pretty close to being done. So I'm going to stop handing these back, and I will continue in the next exercise. Elvis and Charles, Elvis.
Oh, I didn't finish it.
Okay. I just can't stop. Okay, so let's look at these together and see what we came up with. Takes a minute for these to start. I should have started it earlier. Okay. Number 2. So someone read it for me, and then we'll continue our discussion about this. Beatrice, thank you. You didn't even know you volunteered.
The fence was built to keep coyotes away from the house.
Okay, so first off, what's our subject?
Fence
Good. And what is our verb?
was built.
Good. Notice it's 2, and was is what kind of verb?
Helping verb.
Nice. And then what kind of verb is this? We had some problems with this with our last quiz. So what was it? Good. An action verb. To keep. Was built to keep. Okay, to keep the coyotes away. What do I have there? Good, that's a prepositional phrase, right? And from what? There's another prepositional phrase, isn't it? Okay. Another prep phrase. So, what is my subject again? Fence. And it was built, right? And what was it built to do?
To keep the coyotes away.
Now, hang on a second. Before I say to keep the coyotes away, can I just make the sentence say the fence was built? Does that make sense?
No.
No.
You sure?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I could tell
Yes,
somebody
yes.
that, couldn't I? The fence was built, man. Like, seriously.
Yeah, you
Okay.
The fence was built. Okay, that's a strong. That's an SVO right there, isn't it? The word "built" tells me what happened, right? Was built. Okay, now hold on a second. If that's the case, then the rest of this has to be what? Yeah, the controlling idea. Now you got it. Well done, Beatrice. Why? Because it tells us the value. It develops the value. And think about it. Does it tell me an attitude? It gives me the why, doesn't it? It gives me the why. And the why is to keep things from getting eaten. Right?
Right.
Okay. How about number 3? Amanda, you want to do number 3 for us?
The band played an extra hour because their fans wouldn't let them off the stage. The
Awesome.
band is the subject.
Good. So the band is the subject.
Band.
And what do they do?
Played.
Play.
Played. And is that an action verb? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And what about the, how long did they play for?
It's extra hour.
Good. So do I have my SVO?
Yes.
Good. I have my SV and here's my O. Now why did they do that?
The fans wouldn't let them off the stage.
That's right. This whole thing. So what is that? What is it? Controlling idea. Right? Isn't that the controlling idea? Amanda, does that tell me the attitude and the development of value?
Yeah,
Why it is that we're writing the sentence?
right,
It does, right?
yeah.
Good. So if I were to do this assignment correctly, what would I circle?
The B for band.
The band.
Yeah. And you underline the,
Because
yeah, because their fans won't let them off the stage.
all the way down. Good. So if I'm doing this correctly, I should be doing it just like you guys are asked to do it so that you don't get confused. I'm sorry. I'll use another one here. Oh, I just wasted one. Okay, really. So again, band. Thanks for the comment. So there we go. Now we got it correct. That's it. Okay, now number 4. Great teamwork has made. Johnny, I need you to help me out with this one. You got a big smile on your face there. I don't know what you're thinking, but it worries me.
Great teamwork has made the United States women's soccer team an international success.
Okay,
Teamwork is the subject.
good. Teamwork is the subject. Has made, right? There's my verb, isn't that right?
Verb phrase.
Trying to help you guys out because at some point you're gonna have to decide what parts of the sentence exist. Remember, finals are on their way.
Women's soccer.
Whew, 6 weeks away. You guys have put up with me for this long. You believe that? 10 weeks. I'm very proud of you. That in its own right deserves passing.
Yes, don't forget it.
Easy, easy. Great teamwork has made, what has it made?
An international success.
Okay.
That's what I
So, what is my object here?
The women's soccer
Right.
team.
It has made the women's soccer team, right? The United States women's soccer team. So, what part of this is my controlling idea? Yeah, just that last part. Why? Because think about it.
An international success, because that's what they made.
You could say the word, it'd be a little weird, it'd be a little awkward in a conversation on the street to say the great teamwork has made the United States women's soccer team. But if you think about it, you could actually say that. Great teamwork has made that soccer team.
Yeah.
It does make sense, right? You can put that together. It's a little awkward. It's not exactly the best vocabulary choices, but it's, it works.
Yeah.
But if I said an international success, does that give me an attitude? Yeah, I get excited about it, right? That's a huge deal. Success. Success is a positive, right? So essentially what we're doing with attitude is we are determining whether or not, here's the key, okay guys? When we look at attitude, attitude basically says whether or not something is positive or negative. Why is that important? Why is that important? Why do you think it's important to know whether you're saying something positive or negative? It sets a tone. Good for what though?
The reader.
For the reader? Of what? Are they just reading a sentence?
You're developing stories. Yeah.
Amanda, what do you think? You had a thought, I can see it. What were you going to say? It sets the, that's okay. It sets the tone for the reader, and it sets the tone for the reader for just that sentence, or does it set it for
To
something?
read on.
To read on, good. And what follows the sentence usually?
The paragraph.
Nice, the paragraph, and that's what we're working on developing now. Well done, Amanda. Elvis, is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, to create interest.
Good, to create interest in a paragraph, right? So we've got to keep writing that paragraph. But guess what? If I'm setting the tone for the whole paragraph as positive or negative, now I know what my examples have to be. I wouldn't say something like, great teamwork has made the United States women's soccer team an international success. They are horrible at defense. In their last game, they lost. That wouldn't relate. We wouldn't connect,
Oh,
would
yeah,
it?
dude.
Wouldn't connect. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Pizza. Pizza. Pizza is a bestseller. All right, tell me why. Ginger, why don't you read this one out loud for us?
Number 5, pizza is a best-selling fast food because of the variety of toppings available. Our subject is pizza,
Yes, indeed.
and it's best-selling.
Okay, well, here's our subject.
I got a
And
subject.
then our verb is. And what is
Oh, yeah,
it?
it is. It's best-selling.
Is
Fast
it
food.
best-selling or is it a fast food?
Best-selling fast food?
Right, it's a fast food.
Yes.
So why is it a best-selling fast food?
Because of the variety of toppings.
So what helps me to know that? The fact that it's best-selling
Variety of toppings.
Yes.
because of the variety of toppings available. So my controlling idea is twofold. You see that?
Yes.
Because best-selling indicates what kind of fast food it is.
Yeah.
So it gives me an attitude, right? Tells me it's a positive thing, it's best-selling. If we're talking about how fast something sells, positive. And then what? Because of the variety of toppings available. Okay. Yeah, there's like thousands. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. You obviously haven't seen my pizzas, though. They're more like pies. They're literally piled. Might as well just eat the
With
top.
stuffed crust.
Indeed. Oh, stuffed crust is best. Forget
Yes,
it.
cheese in the crust.
I think they need to make a garlic crust stuff.
Okay,
Thank
stop.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
That's good, right? Isn't that a good idea? Guys, we have $1 million idea here. I'm telling you. Pretzels. Forget about it. We need garlic in that crust. All right. Number
Lots of
6.
garlic spread.
Number 6. David, why don't you take number 6 for us?
Versatility and size make the laptop computer a good business tool for travelers.
Good. So what is our subject, David?
Laptop computer?
Well, maybe, but I know that that's our natural tendency because we usually want to pick the word that's a noun, and that's a good technique, David. That's definitely something that we could positively do, is pick the noun. But in this case, I don't think we're talking about the laptop computer as much as we're talking about the way that that laptop computer is. So Sal, why don't you tell me what the subject is?
So, versatility and size.
There we go. So it's,
Two.
yeah, good.
I got it right.
And so guess what? We call that a compound subject. This is a compound subject because it has 2 different parts. It's got 1 and 2,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And what's the verb, Sebastian?
Say compound subject.
Make. Good. These 2 things make. And notice the verb is singular. It's not makes, is it? It's make.
Make.
2 things, 1, right? Make. Okay? So versatility and size make the laptop computer a good business tool for travelers. Doesn't this sound a little bit familiar? Doesn't this sound like the international success sentence? It says the word make, isn't that made? Wasn't that the word that we used in the international sentence? So if I were to talk to me and say versatility and size make the laptop computer. Period. Does that make sense? It does make enough sense. It's a little awkward. It's not the right words necessarily for a full sentence, but it has all the components, and we can justify that as an actual statement, right? That's what makes it, man. It's awesome. Okay? But hold on. There's more. I need to know that there's an attitude here, and the attitude that's presented is what?
Good business tool.
It's a good business tool. That's right. And for who? Good. So what's my entire controlling idea?
A good tool.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Okay, now. Learning about long-term investing can blah, 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 blah. Somebody help me out. Somebody take it. Jessica, we haven't heard from you yet today. Help me out, will you?
Do you want me to read the sentence?
Yeah, just read the sentence for us.
Learning about long-term investing can help people have a happier retirement experience.
Cool. I would like that, personally. The retirement part. Maybe not like when I'm supposed to retire. You get the point. Anyway, what's the subject?
Learning,
Learning. Good. And it's not learning necessarily. It's what?
the act of learning.
Good. It's the act of learning. So we're circling our subject, right? Good. And what about it? What about it? What's the verb? What's the verb, Jessica?
Long-term investing.
Is that the verb? Is that the action? Because we're learning about that. What is it doing, though? What is the act of learning about this thing?
It's helping.
Help is helping. Good. Can help.
Can help.
Can help who?
People.
Good. So this is a verb, and then there's my object, and help them what? They can be happy, right?
Yeah,
Maria, is that what you said? Be happier?
Happier.
So what's my controlling idea, Laura?
Having happier retirement.
Well done. Well done. All right. Okay, now, hang on to these. Sal, question?
About long-term investing. This is a prepositional phrase.
Prepositional phrase, nice job. So the prepositional phrase is acting as learning about long-term investing. It's acting as what?
Investing here is a noun or
What, learning?
investing?
Investing is a noun in this case, yeah. Investing is one of those words, like investment is a noun. The act of investing, right, is being used as a noun. Investing is an action. You invest money, you put it into something, right? So it would make it a verb. But it can be used in multiple forms depending on where it's placed in a sentence. We're not really there yet, but we're working on it. We're getting there. David, question?
For some reason, I was first thinking long-term or investing was the main subject, but yes, you're learning about investing.
Right. So if I here, let's answer that question in a different way, David. If I were looking for, do you remember we talked about the simple subject versus the complete subject? Do you remember that? Simple subject is just the word, right? So in this case, what do we have? Simple subject, learning. But what's the complete subject? The complete subject, if you look back in your notes, if you guys look back in your notes, you'll notice that the complete subject is the simple subject and all the words that describe it. So in this case, what are all the words that describe it?
Learning about long-term investing.
About long-term investing. So now my subject, which was once simple, has become complete. That's the whole subject. Okay? We'll keep practicing this. So here's what I want you guys to do with this piece of paper. Okay? Put it somewhere where you can review it tonight. Put it somewhere where you can look it over. Maybe slip it in the notes section of your notebook that has controlling idea and topic sentence as a reference. Why? Because if you look at it tonight or tomorrow night's probably better, it'll be fresh in your minds for Wednesday, and you will be able to do this on your own without my help. Because I'm going to give you different sentences on Wednesday to try to figure this out. Might be a little bit more difficult, okay? Okay, speaking of notes, you're going to need some. We're going to be creative here. So get out your notebooks, or whatever you take notes in, and write down some very simple questions, pardon me.
question, Mr. Hooper.
Yeah, Ginger, what's
When
up?
we're finished with our reading lab, do we need to give you our yellow paper or I give it to them?
I will need to see your, I get a report every week from them as to how your progress is going.
Okay.
Um,
Do I, so I'll just take a photocopy of the front back, do a copy of
That'd
it?
be great, I'd love to have a copy of that for my records. But I will talk to them at the end of the semester to determine whether or not you guys have.
Yeah, and they won't let me retake it, once I take it once, they won't let me retake it.
I don't believe so.
I tried.
Oh, did
To
you?
get a, cause I'm like, I can get 100% next time, they said, nope, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought there was a thing like you have a chance to take a test 3 times or something like that.
Well, there's 3 ones you take, and then they mark A, B, or C.
Okay,
but,
so let's
as long as
focus,
you're over 75%.
let's focus our energies back up on this for now, okay?
I got like 85, 95. But I got.
So we got this, all right? So come on, let's do our new notes. So we can work on 421 in our lab a little later. David and Ginger, if you guys need some assistance understanding a couple things about that, I can help you too.
Looks like I got 2 more, 1 more, and then my final one.
Good.
So I got the.
Good.
I-
Topic sentence, so let's focus on this, come on. So topic sentence we know has an SVO, we know that it has a controlling idea, right? And we talked about just a minute ago that, we talked about, Amanda even said it, that we have, if we have a topic sentence, it's going to follow through in a paragraph, right? A topic sentence goes at the beginning of the paragraph, okay? A topic sentence is the first sentence in a, you guessed it, paragraph. Now, for your future reference in classes, in English classes beyond mine and some of the other classes you might take, paragraph, the symbol with the double line like that, that's a paragraph sign, okay? You might see that again in some of your collegiate studies as you move forward, right? Paragraph, that's the paragraph symbol. Now, this is the new part. Before writing a complete paragraph, something has to happen. How many of you guys go, when you get a writing assignment for any other class, you go into your office or wherever your computer is, and you open up the screen, and it's a blank screen with a little cursor, and it's blinking at you.
Yeah.
And you stare at that blank screen until you decide to check Facebook, or until you get hungry, or until you put away the computer and come back to it the night before it's due, right? Some of you guys just do the assignment, right? That's good. Some of you guys sit down and you just write. But I'll bet many of you just sit down and write, right off the top of your head. No work ahead of time. I have an assignment due, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to finish it. So one of the things that you have to learn from our class and take away from this class is that we don't just sit in front of a blank screen and write whatever comes off the top of our head. Okay, when you get to, hang on one sec, David. When you get to an upper division or even a transfer level like English 1A, which is where we're going with all this eventually, you're going to have to be able to write in an organized fashion, and you have to organize your ideas in a certain way. Okay, so we start that today by, instead of just writing off the top of our head, we have created a topic sentence that has certain information in it, an attitude and a controlling idea, right? It has a subject, a verb, and an object, right? And we're thinking bigger. We're going, wow, we need to make a paragraph happen. So, my next type of sentence, who remembers from last week? What was it? Who remembers from last week? I asked you guys to do it for homework, so to give me a what? An example, good. So before writing a completed paragraph, we sketch out major ideas that will appear in the paragraph. Okay, sketch out major ideas that will appear in the paragraph. Write that down. Write that down. Before writing a complete paragraph, sketch out major ideas that will appear in the paragraph. So why do I do this? I always like to give you guys a reason why we do this. This will help clarify this down. You may see it on your final. Whether or not the topic is clearly defined. That's the first thing. Okay, comma. Whether or not the topic is clearly defined. Okay. Whether or not the controlling idea is connected to the topic. Okay, whether or not, this will help clarify whether or not the topic is clearly defined, the controlling idea is connected to the topic. Remember we said that we have a subject and a controlling idea, but do the two things connect? Is there a logical connection between the two? And the last part, the supporting ideas. Oh, what are those? I asked you guys to write one over the weekend. What is it?
They connect to the main topic.
The supporting ideas or the examples. Okay, that's what we're working on today, the examples. We'll work together for proper development. Okay, now, what does that mean? What does that mean?
That you want your supporting idea to tie into your main topic. Like topic make great Christmas gift. Why?
Good. So let's use a topic sentence. Okay, let's use a topic sentence for just a second, and then we're going to connect it back. Albert Einstein is our subject. Everybody knows who Albert Einstein is, right? Scientist with the big hair. You guys know that guy, right? Albert Einstein. What about him? He's a scientist, right? What did he do? Developed a theory, didn't he?
Gravity.
Quantum theory?
Quantum theory, relativity. There it is. And what was that? Does anybody know what the famous letters are for Albert Einstein?
E+C².
Look at everybody knows that. I have no idea what it means either. Don't worry. But everybody knows it. Albert Einstein developed the theory of relativity. Now, if I were to write the formula is E equals mc squared. Is this an example? Yes. Is this a topic sentence? Yes. Okay. Does it prove that he did this? Well, if we have the formula, then it proves that he came up with relativity, didn't he? Because that's what this means. Now, this is a better science paragraph than it is an English paragraph, right? Humanities versus science and mathematics. But in this case, it does prove it. So I go down here and I go, this will help clarify it. Is the topic clearly defined? Well,
Yes.
Albert Einstein developed the theory of relativity. I think that's pretty clear, isn't it? It's a definition. It's almost a straight up fact, isn't it? Okay. Then I go, is the controlling idea connected to the topic? Albert Einstein, the theory of relativity. Is relativity connected to this theory, connected to Albert Einstein?
Yes.
It is, isn't it? The controlling idea is this is connected, right? And the word developed is a positive, isn't it? Because you're making something. Now, will it work together for the purpose of proper development? Oh, now I'm talking about my example sentences. Does this connect back? Absolutely.
Yes, it does.
Will it create proper development? Absolutely. So, how did I come to that conclusion? I want you to write down the following things. The last piece of information you need to have, which is the most important, is this. Example sentences and this is what we were talking about on Wednesday briefly, require details to explain a topic sentence. Okay? Example sentences require details to explain a topic sentence. Arguments have to be proven with fact or details. And details. Okay, that's important to know. Example sentences, the ones that follow your topic sentence, have to have facts and details. Some kind of fact and detail, some kind of proof, right? That what you said in your topic sentence is correct. That's what they have to have. So, how do I find that proof?